What's up? What's up? It's your girl Angie Fox, back in the house, for the number one talk show on the number one empowerment platform in the land. So y'all know what to do. Call your neighbors, your friends, and everybody that you know. Tell them it's time to tune in now to We Are One. And y'all know how I do. I show off when I got my friends rolling with me. And today it gives me great pleasure to introduce to each and every one of you a very special guest. He is somebody. I say it like in the words of my pastor, I've learned how to recognize greatness when it's in my presence. And I have a very special, a great guest that I am here today for your listening pleasure. We want to empower you by listening to the story of none other than Bishop Dr. Terrence G. Tindal, better known as TGerome on Facebook and probably other social media platforms. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about him before he tells you about himself. He is a native, get this, of Summerton, South Carolina. Now, that's for those of you who think great things doesn't come out of these small towns and cities. Oh, but how wrong. He is a proud graduate of the historic Scotts Branch High School. His education and training continued as he attended Benedict College, Columbia College, Grand Canyon University, the Art Institute, Kenneth Schuler School of Cosmetology, and School of the Great Commission Bible College and Seminar. Did y'all hear that? So he is a man of education. He's a learned man. He is serves currently as the president of the Scotts Branch High Alumni Association. He's an executive board member of the Clarendon County Branch NAACP. He is the presiding prelate of the Lighthouse Fellowship of Churches Incorporated. He's the executive director of the I Care 2 Anti-Bullying Program Incorporation, and he is an active member of the Summerton Literacy Council. Listen, this sir is doing his thing. Some of us talking about it, he's doing it. In 2010, TGerome Tindal was honored and awarded an honorary Doctor of Public Service while serving, here's history, you all, as Summerton's youngest elected official during his tenure as councilman for the town of Summerton. He served 12 years. In 2015, he was inducted into the South Carolina Top 40 Under 40 amongst African American business leaders by the South Carolina Black Pages. You better watch out. He's somebody to keep an eye on because he's making moves and he's doing his thing. He's grooving in the state of South Carolina and beyond. Recently, he published Embracing Your Authentic Self, A Journey to Self-Love, and he is about to release his second book, The Truth Fits Better. Tindal was recently featured on the movie Bull Street that features music he wrote. I Don't Know. That's the title of what he wrote. In addition to being CEO of Jerome and Company, he is also founder of the Lighthouse Theological Institute and Seminary. Terrence Jerome lives by his motto: your dreams will never come up. Let me start this over. Let me get his motto right. His motto in life is this: your dreams will never come true if you continue to sleep on them. Y'all better act like y'all heard that. Your dreams will never come true if you continue to sleep on them. I present and introduce to each and every one of you none other than Bishop Dr. Terrence Jerome Tindal of Summerton, South Carolina. Y'all give it up and let's say welcome. Welcome, T. Jerome, my brother. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is our honor to have you present with us today. I've been waiting for this interview. Telling you.
We finally got it down packed to, I know both of our schedules are extremely busy.
Yes.
To have the opportunity to be on the show with you and talk to you is definitely a great pleasure. And I don't count it short by none. I think it's amazing for
Well,
you to
thank
have
you.
me on the show, especially with you being one of the number one. Come on.
Number one in the land
Put me
now. That's
put me
right.
on the put me out there with the folks. That's what I'm
That's
talking
right.
about.
That's
Yes,
it.
indeed.
So it is a pleasure. We have Brett in the house with us, my co-host of We Are One, my content creator for Angie Fox Show and everything that I do.
Yes.
She is one of the best producers and assistants out there in the land. Also, she's rolling and doing her thing. You're going to be hearing more from her later on, an interview herself for
Okay.
her own show. But
Awesome.
we want to talk to you. I had to have her with us today because you are such a very special guest that we want to make sure we don't forget anything. And I want the whole world, not that you're not already known across the nation, but we want the whole world to know all about you because you are indeed one to watch as far as empowering, building, helping others, not just in your community where you live, but everywhere. You are everywhere. And you have provided platforms with an S for others to shine, to grow, to be educated. And that's huge. That's huge. And that also speaks volumes of your selflessness. So I thank God for you for everything that you're doing. So, in your own words, I want you to tell us, tell the people, who is TGerome Tindal?
Listen, so just to hear you say that is just like wow. Sometimes when you do a lot of work, you never look at the things that you do. You just
Yeah.
do it, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And I think that one of my biggest things have always been to be a person of service. I've always learned how to serve, whether it's my community, whether it's in church, whether it's my family. And so I never look at it as if it's a job or
Right.
as if it's something that to elevate me. It's just something I'm used to doing because um, I've been raised into a family. I'm the baby.
Okay.
So one thing about me, my parents, there's a age gap between me and my siblings. My sister and brother had the privilege to grow up together. And then about 12 years later, they got this little aggravating baby boy came along and
Okay.
and who happened to they were out the house by the time I got at a good age. So I grew up with my mom and my dad who were older parents, and being around older folk taught me how to be a person of service
Okay.
because I watched them in the community doing things. When your neighbor needed sugar, it wasn't a question of you gonna run to the store. No, you're gonna run over there and take it to them.
Right.
If they needed something, you're gonna take this and go. And so it was all about service and building each other. And so while being young and being there and watching this, it's put into me, installed into me to be a person of service. And so as you've said before, born and raised in Summerton, South Carolina. Ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
Um, in high school, throughout school, I was very active, always into something. Um, but I was always a different child, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Um, because that doesn't, when children, there are children who learn different, and who they're smart, they can get things, but they have to look at it a different way. And so um, I was one of those kids. I was into everything. I was in choir, band, different clubs, and I had a teacher that told me because I wasn't getting it in one of their classes, and I won't
Right.
mention the class, but that you know what, Terrence, when you get older, you're not gonna be anything. And so out of all the negativity that possibly could have been said in my life, that one comment
A teacher
always
said that to you?
the teacher, the person who I thought should have been the person to push me or to help elevate my spirit,
Yeah.
um, was someone that broke me. And you know, out of all the things that people could have said negative towards me, that one thing broke me. So I always had a goal, not to just be one thing, but to be everything I could be.
Right.
And I think I took that a little too far in the
Or maybe
because
not.
everything I've always wanted to do, I've done it. Um and my bucket list was just checked out because I always wanted to be in a movie. And the opportunity came when the movie was being filmed in my hometown. And I was like, okay, let me be an extra or something. And so I got an opportunity to be an extra. But while the movie was being filmed, the director was like, there's a song or something that's needed. And shout out to Lynn Dow, who directed the movie. She brought this production to Somerton. And
Okay.
so there was a song that Loretta Devine, who's one of my favorite, oh gosh, was one of my favorite, was wanted to kind of incorporate in the movie. So I had the opportunity to rewrite and
And work with Loretta Devine.
arrange the music so that we could do it. She played a grandmother in the movie and she sung the song in the movie. So when she actually died in the movie, I sung the song at the funeral in the movie.
Wow.
And so who can, I
Wow.
mean, what, it doesn't get any better than that, right?
I
But
know, right?
so when I actually went and saw it on the big screen and I saw my face, and then I was like, oh shoot, I'm about to sing. I'm about to sing. And when the song started on the movie, I was like, I'm singing. I'm singing in the movie. I was like, I know people was like, calm down, Terrence, calm down.
But did you all do a premiere
It,
in Somerton as well?
no, we don't have a movie theater in Somerton. Um, so this week, entire week has been a statewide premiere for the movie. And it's so every Regal Theater in the state of South Carolina has premiered the movie this week to see how sales will go before they launch it on a national level. And one of the reasons they did it is because it was filmed here in South Carolina. The director wanted to do it here versus releasing it in a bigger city. She wanted it to come to South Carolina because so many of the extras were from South Carolina. And so and I'm glad she did that because to a lot of us, it gave as if I didn't have enough self esteem already.
Yeah.
It boosts us to another level just to say, man, that wow, that was such an awesome experience. And even the little children who were in the movie as the shoe shine boy was who was one of my former students. And the little girls who were in the church scene, like it made such a they told all their friends I was in the movie. So
Oh,
it did a whole
wonderful.
lot for our community. And to see there and watch the movie and you see actual places that you know that's really good. So and then my home church was a scene in the movie, and so it was a lot. It was definitely a lot for me. But I know I'm kind of going back, but
No, it's all wonderful.
to go back to what I was saying is that when with having being said that I made a list of everything I always wanted to do, and I mastered it. Now there are things
Everyone.
that I did not have in plan, like being a preacher. Being a preacher probably
That
was the
wasn't on
last
your
thing.
list, huh?
That was not on my list. That was not on my list. And not only being a preacher, but being a pastor was
Yeah.
definitely not on my list. I was like, get somebody else to do it. And then but one of the most rewarding things, and I'm going to tell you the honest truth, my first church was called the Restoration Church.
Okay.
My church, when we started our ministry, it was called the Restoration Church. And the reason why it's called the Restoration Church, because I know there were several young men and young women who have experienced a lot of hurt in their lives. And just like me. And although my family was loving, my community was loving, they still did not understand where I was at a
Okay.
place where or they can hug you, they can pray, but until they understand or can connect mentally with
Relate
you,
to it. Yeah.
physically, and just be there to pray with you, it's a difference. And because I've experienced hurt, I've experienced the law. This time I lost my dad when I was in college, um, and when he was in the car accident in May, and from May to October, I was in the hospital every day with him, and just watch him slip away was
Yeah.
traumatic for me. So, but relieving as well because I want him to be in a better place. But even from hurt from that to just dealing with so many different things, I just wanted to be that pastor that can pray for people and listen to them because sometimes all people need is a listening ear,
Sometimes
and
that's all.
that's all. And so the church was called the Restoration Church because it was a place to be restored. Um,
Okay.
and it was like the hospital here. You bring your issues here, and
That's
I'll be the nurse to help you get
yes.
to the doctor. Okay, I'm going to help you get to who
Wow.
you need to get to. And one of the profound things is we had a lot of young people in my church, and we had a lot of young people. But I had Mother Haddon. God bless you. If you ever watch this, I want you to know I love your life. Mother Haddon was a mother in our church. She was the mother of one of my friends who joined my church, who was a deacon, and she was the oldest member in our church. And one Sunday, I had Mother Haddon come to the altar because it was a service of, it was just a lot of tears, crying out going on.
Yeah.
And I had her stand there and just open her arms and
And
embrace
hold that body. Oh,
it. And that Sunday, man, oh, I almost got
talking about
excited.
restoration.
That Sunday meant so much to our church because there's so many young people that deal with so many different things mentally, physically, emotionally, that all they need is to be embraced. And where we are now, a lot of people don't understand what it means to embrace them. I've had people tell me that their parents don't tell them they love. They don't get hugs. They don't. And now the world doesn't think that men should hug their son.
Right.
You
Right.
know, grab that boy and tell him you love him. That could save their life. And so we got to a place where I would take. I had a small church, so it didn't take much for me to text my members. So I would text them, "Hey, hope your day is going well." Little things like that will make a major difference in people's lives. And so our church was a church of restoration, a church of being restored. And so having mothers to hug and to embrace, the next Sunday after that, we had more people come to church
Yeah.
because they told them about, this is a place where you can be accepted for who you are. And so when they went to go and tell me about it, I was like, no, I don't want to hear about that. The only thing I want to know is, do you love God? Do you believe in Him? And because that's what all Romans tell us in the book.
That's it.
We got to acknowledge who He is and believe within our hearts.
That's it.
All the other stuff that you got going on is not my business.
That's it.
And that's what, well, we ain't talking about that today.
Plan of
But
salvation is simple, and you just led
but
them to Christ.
but that's what's been a problem with a lot of people. They don't know how to accept people for who they are and show them the way from where they are. And so that has been what led our church from going from 5 members to 24 members to 38 members, and then we continue to grow. We eventually we stayed a small ministry, but it was an impactful ministry.
Yes.
Um, and eventually, when the pandemic came in, we lost uh, we lost some memberships because it forced people to have to move back home
Mm-hmm.
to live lives. Because when not having jobs, it
Yeah.
put you in a place where you couldn't afford to live. You had to move back home to your parents or to your family members, and so we all scattered in different
Yeah.
directions. But we remained one family. Even during the pandemic, we prayed virtually together. We on calls, and so after now that we are in a place of worshiping physically, we created the Lighthouse Fellowship of Churches, because even one of my sons that was in the church has already started his ministry. And so me
Wow.
covering his ministry. I had another daughter that was in the ministry. She started ministry when she went back home. She started, so we cover hers. So
Wow.
what we thought was the end was
Was
only the,
just another beginning.
that's it.
That's it.
And, and so
So
then
tell
God,
me this, because you're saying a whole lot. You're a whole lot more than what's written on paper. So being from small town USA, what was your driving force, man, that brought about all of this? You talked about the list, and you've mastered everything on the list. Glory be to God, plus things that you didn't have on the list. But people hear small town USA like Mayberry on television, and they think
yeah,
we're not doing anything. Everybody knows everybody's name, and that's it. You're not going anywhere. What is the driving force behind you that pushes you to the place where you are impacting thousands and millions of lives all around the globe? Because every life that the people you touch are touching lives. I mean, what is it that
I,
makes you this?
I honestly think having the having the love of Christ, number one, is very important, because
Absolutely.
when you love like Christ loves, you always be in your heart to do things to make it better. And so, while I at Benedict, I had the opportunity to travel the world with the choir, with the theater team, and going to different states, different countries, different
Right.
cities. And as I would see things, I would be like, "Gosh, I want to do that in my community. my
Oh,
community needs
wow.
that. They need that. And so I would find ways to bring that. So when I was as I was transitioning from Benedict to home, I got elected as a council member. And how unique is that, right?
Yeah.
So and when I got home, I started seeing all of the things that I've witnessed in the world and said, I want to bring this back home. I want them to have an anti-bullying program to help people
Yeah.
because I want them to have community events that's going to empower people. I want that, and so with doing that, I connected to other people and to bring those resources home. And so having a heart to build the community and to love my community, it made me want to learn more to bring it there. And just went so exposure was very important. Just having the opportunity to learn, go out, learn and grow and be able to bring it back home has been definitely a driving force. And most importantly, because I have nieces and nephews, I don't that are younger. And I knew as they grew older, I wanted them to have opportunities to in their hometown that would prepare them. Because although I was from Somerton, I went certain places that I didn't know about certain things because
Yeah.
it was never taught. And so I thought that even if I brought it home and as a young teacher in the school system, taught in the school system for 15 years, I know that if I taught the kids things, whether it's other languages through music or different things, it would give them some exposure and prepare them for the world.
Well, it sounds like you've used every part of you, who you are, everything that you have, everything that you gained, everything that you've learned, every part of you to give back
Yes, ma'am.
because you've given back in so many areas. And that's to be applauded. And I'll tell you why. Not because, yes, that's our reasonable service. We should be that way as people of God. But I'm going to tell you
Right.
why it should be applauded because it's more people that don't do it.
Yes.
So many
Yes.
people are about me, my four, and no more. And you get yours the best way you can. That when I encounter people like yourself
Yeah.
who are constantly giving back, growing their communities, reaching out beyond the borders of their house and their home, and helping all those around them, and then helping others to build and grow, whether it's in ministry or business or whatever, personally, spiritually, in every way, that is more rare than common.
Mm-hmm.
So I applaud you, my brother, for being so selfless and giving back. So I want to talk for a quick minute about the school that you started because you're not
Sure.
just a bishop, you're not just a teacher in the school system where you taught for 15 years. You're not just in our local government, but you are also the founder.
Yes.
Let me go. I want to give the right words. I'm looking for the part about your school. Tell us about your school. Here it is.
So,
You are the founder of the
mhm.
Lighthouse Theological Institute and Seminary. You have an actual institution that teaches others and help others get degrees.
Yes. So with our school, it's the Lighthouse Theological Institute and Seminary, um, where we are teaching people to be the light. And basically, as you see, and whenever you see a lighthouse, it's always in the water
Yeah,
because through every storm and a cloudy day,
you
the
see the light.
lighthouse is there to be a light to bring the boats on in. And so our school was found on that. I wanted to be that person. I want our school to be that individual institution that will help guide those people to the light, bring them to where they need to be. We're not cared about your past. We're not worried about your past. We're only worried about where you're going. And how you get there is by receiving thorough teachings. And
Yes.
so we have programs such as pastoral leadership. We have programs like evangelism. We have programs as Christian education, Christian counseling, sacred music. We have programs that can help impact the church, today's church, uh, because it's the only way that I feel personally that people can be effective in teaching and growing is by learning first. And
Right.
so I connected with some of my great friends who are theologians who they may have studied this and this one might have studied that one, but I studied this one, and together
Come
we
all
came
together.
together and say,
Yes.
listen, let's connect together and build. And um, And see, like we said earlier, people learn different. And so I wanted to make sure that we didn't just have a school, but we have a school that will cater to everyone's learning. Because I know it can be challenging sometimes. I remember when I first thought I wanted to be a theological study major, and I was like, I'm going to school to study the Bible. That's gonna be an easy major. Baby, the first day of class, I was like, damn, oh no, no, no. I thought, wait, we're gonna start from Genesis and read this book to Revelation kind of thing, and we're just gonna have a little Bible study for 4 years.
Mm-mm.
Boy, when they got, and I'll be honest with you, when the teachings get really good, you have, oh, you start learning so much stuff about the Bible.
Yes.
It's so, but you have to have people who have just as much passion for the word to teach it. And so I brought those people together who are not traditional teachers, but people who are able to pull your mind and put you in that place. So not only you're not reading the scripture, but you're seeing
You
what's going on
see
here.
it.
You're putting your play yourself in that place. And so I wanted, and
Mm.
that's why we built the school. We wanted to be, we didn't want to be just another Bible college because there's
Right.
several around the state
There
and the
are.
United States.
There
But we
are.
wanted to be the Bible college that's going to change you, your mindset, how you think, how you walk, how you talk. Everybody can get to a
That's what I'm
huckleberry,
talking about.
shot da da da, just speaking
Yes,
it.
right? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But what comes after you finish that? Do you have enough word in you to teach the people? So
That's it.
we wanted. That's why we formed the school so that we can. And this summer we're doing a summer institute for
Okay.
young preachers, um, because we want them to not only just go and preach, we want them to have a little bit of knowledge on certain things. And young pastors, it's okay to lead the flock, but you need to learn the business side of leading a flock
Yes.
so your church doesn't suffer.
Well,
And all
tell
of that.
us how we can
Yes.
reach you because I
Yeah.
know you just said a mouthful, and there's a lot of people that are going to be reaching out now to enroll. I'm in school right now, and I'm sitting here thinking, what course can I take? I probably can get in his Christian counseling program. I
That's
better
it.
look into it. So tell us how you can be reached for in any of these areas, or even just to connect with you, or even to attend your college. Talk to us. Give us your
So,
information.
um, so we have a website called it's the www.thelighthousenetwork.com.
Okay.
And the reason why it's the lighthousenetwork.com is because when I started the fellowship, which is Lighthouse Fellowship of Churches and Leaders, everything falls under our umbrella. The church
Okay.
itself, the Lighthouse Church, the Lighthouse Fellowship, the Lighthouse Foundation, which we do our nonprofit stuff, the Lighthouse Institute, which is a school, the theological school, and so all of that is there. So when you go to that one
Okay.
website, the lighthousenetworks.com,
Got it.
you'll reach all of our everything that's on our umbrella, and you'll be able to connect here and connect there. But most importantly, you'll see how to get in contact with us.
All
And
right.
if I can't help you, we have so many people that are in place to help you. I recently have pulled away from being the president of the college, and one of our leaders, Dr. Tanya Akala, she's now going to be installed as our president this fall, because I also understand that there's a time and place, and
That's
we don't
right.
always have to lead everything.
Man, you better talk.
So I did what the Lord put in my heart was to start the
Got it.
school. Now I'm stepping back and
And
allowing,
let it move.
I mean, her to lead it and go
Yes.
forward. And baby, when I tell you, I've sneaked in her classes and listened to her teach the students, and I was like this, learning. And so she's built a dynamic program. And so when I prayed about a leader, the Lord just showed me her. And when I mentioned it to her, she connected with me instantly. She said, "Let me
Yeah.
pray about it." She called me back and said, "I prayed about it. I'll do it." And since that day, she has been building a powerhouse program. I will not take
Wow.
credit for the dynamic work that she's bringing forth this fall. She's doing an amazing job. But the Lord will put people in place to help you move to another level. So
Yeah, absolutely.
people reach
Thank
in
you.
and come on. We can all grow together. Maybe we can get you
Man,
to
I
come
love
teach us
it.
how to do this podcast thing in our campus.
That's right. We got to get it there. We will. I am
Yes.
so honored to have you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again for being my guest today. And you all heard it, the lighthousenetworks.com. Listen, let's get on. Let's connect with our brother, TGerome Tindal. And I'm telling you, you're going to be hearing more from him real soon. So thank you all for joining us today for this awesome interview with my very special guest. Look, hook up with them, connect with them, and let us all grow together. Thank
And
you, my
listen, I
brother.
want to say one
Yes,
more thing before we leave. My
yes.
second book is launching this fall in September. The book is called The Truth Fits Better.
And we will be bringing him back to talk
Yes,
about the truth fitting better.
fits better.
And
Yeah.
we'll keep you informed of his next book signing as well, because there's
Yes.
one coming soon to a
It's
city
definitely
near
coming.
you.
Yes,
So
indeed.
thank you all for being with us. We thank God for you. Continue to roll with us here on the number one empowerment platform, www.empowermentpodcastnetwork.com, for the one and only We Are One Talk Show. We love you. We thank God for you. God bless you. Holla at your girl.